Hi everyone, and welcome to the Acuant GO No Code Challenge webinar. Thank you all for joining. A couple of quick introductions before we get started. My name's Jack Taylor. I'm Product Marketing Manager here at Acuant, and I'll be leading the first section of today's webinar. And with me today is our Senior Product Manager, Hannah Alonso, as well, who will be demonstrating the power of Acuant GO in real time for you all later. We'll just give everyone couple more seconds just to kind of log on for those that haven't joined yet, and then we'll get started. Okay, great. So I'll jump right into the agenda. So today we'll be covering a few different things, really, just kind of trying to give you a full understanding of what Acuant GO is, but I'll go through the barriers to speed as well. So for deploying an IDV, KYC, AML solution, what are some of the challenges that perhaps some of you on the call may already be experiencing? Then we'll take you through the solution, what it is, how it works, some of its key features, and then we'll look at some of the incredible success that our clients have had using Acuant GO. And then Hannah will take you through a demonstration of Acuant GO later in the session as well, showing us how you can use it to completely build and customize your data capture process, as well as what it looks like for the end user as well, and that whole user experience. And then finally, we'll finish up with a Q&A as well. So if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the GoToWebinar window, and we'll try and get through as many as we can at the end of today's session. Okay, so before I jump right in, I just want to give a quick introduction to those of you who are new to Acuant and what we do. We have more than 20 years of experience and innovation within the identity verification space. And over that time, we've developed and proven trusted identity platform, which is designed to provide everything you need to power trusted transactions all in one place, regardless of business size, industry, or risk appetite. So we now facilitate transactions in more than 200 countries, execute over 8.5 billion identity checks every year. And all this enables our clients to onboard more good customers, improve operational efficiency, mitigate risk, provide better overall customer experiences, and of course, stay compliant as well. So in order to set the scene a little bit here, I wanted to start with this quote from Salesforce's Mark Benioff, which I think really summarizes how there's now a premium on speed within business. Speed and more specifically, the ability to rapidly adapt should be at the forefront of our minds as we develop and launch new digital products and services. The speed of digital transformation over the past 12 months was unprecedented. We'll all be aware of the reasons for that. In fact, analyst firm Gartner have stated that it was equivalent to 6 years of accelerated adoption in going digital. So speed is the new currency of business. So with that in mind, I wanted to start today with 3 quickfire poll questions for you. So we'd like to hear from all of you attending today regarding your current level of digital maturity, some of the biggest challenges around deploying identity verification solutions in your organization. So we'll share the results for this at the end of the webinar. Question 1, what percentage of your customer interactions related to identity verification or KYC and AML compliance are fully digital? So is it less than 25%, less than 50%, more than 50%, or more than 75%? And then question 2 is, what is the most challenging aspect of rolling out and or managing an identity verification or AML KYC solution within your organization? Is it securing the budget, working with multiple vendors, lack of IT resources to execute, or the integration itself? And finally, question 3, roughly how long would it take for you to develop and launch an identity verification or AML KYC solution in your organization? Less than a month, less than 6 months, more than 6 months, or more than a year? And like I said, we'll run through the results of this quickfire poll and the 3 questions at the end of the webinar. Okay, so I'll jump right in. So what's slowing down fraud and compliance teams at the moment? What are the barriers to speed for businesses at the moment in terms of deploying that IDV, KYC or AML solution? Well, they're numerous in essence. So you've got dynamic markets. Markets are volatile, unpredictable, and it can be difficult to keep up. Demanding digital consumers. Today, consumers expect nothing less than a convenient, efficient, positive customer journey and experience. I don't think this aspect can be understated, in all honesty. I'm sure most of us here today would have probably dropped out of an onboarding process at some point that was perhaps frustrating, difficult, or time-consuming, and you've then gone elsewhere just for ease. So a really important factor. The expanding threat landscape, data breaches, phishing scams, synthetic identities, deep fakes, these are all on the rise. New technologies developing all the time to enable fraud. And as more and more of our interactions have moved online in recent times, certainly over the last 12, 18 months, it's never been more vital to stay ahead of the fraudsters. 57% of businesses reported higher year-on-year fraud over the past 12 months, which is really quite telling. As well as the evolving threat landscape, you've also got the evolving regulatory landscape as well. So regulations are constantly shifting, especially in new markets, and interpreting those regulations has become more difficult. Multi-layered solutions. You now need a thorough IDV and KYC process that requires a collection of different technologies. It's no longer sufficient just to run a single database check, for instance, on an identity. The traditional data sources of old, whilst they're still useful, are unlikely to provide the type of coverage, global coverage that's required for a global digital organization, and the robust nature of having multiple data sources, traditional and alternative, all working together as part of a composite solution is really key. And then finally, overloaded technical resources. I'm sure plenty of us on this call will be familiar with this, but the skilled resources required for a digital economy are in high demand. And of course, your technical team may be limited. Certainly if you're new to market or need to scale quickly, or perhaps you're simply just focused on getting your core functionality ready to go to market, and you've got fires to put out, your technical team are going to be working on those, and perhaps your IDV, KYC, AML process for onboarding isn't going to be at the top of your agenda, and you've got to dedicate that resource, that technical resource, to other tasks. So there's some of the barriers to speed that certainly we've encountered with our clients, and why we've kind of developed Acuant GO as a solution. So where does Acuant GO fit into all of this? Well, we wanted to build that solution that provides a fast time to market, spanning the whole gamut of identity verification and AML and KYC needs, with premium advanced technological solutions without requiring tons of technical resources, as I've mentioned, and then compliance without compromise on user experience, functionality, or flexibility. It's going to allow you to adjust really quickly, be it to that changing threat or regulatory landscape that we just touched on. So in essence, the Acuant GO is all about speed, and you could say the MO for Acuant GO is no code, no compromise. And really, front and foremost of Acuant GO is that rapid go-to-market and the speed that it allows you to deliver a solution and your front-end data capture process, regardless of what your use case is. You can see a number here on the left. It's a really quick, short process, and with just a few steps required to deliver that solution. So it's simply a process of designing your forms, customizing them, embedding them into your site, running those tests, and then you're good to go. And it really is that simple. We've had clients up and running with Acuant GO quite literally in less than an hour. So why Acuant GO? Well, I've already mentioned it's a no-code solution, which is key for easing that pressure on your tech resources. And I've touched on that rapid go-to-market aspect of it without sacrificing functionality or compromising on those key areas that are so vital. But it also allows you to develop customizable global identity solutions and tailor it. And it's providing that dynamic, context-driven UX as well. But I would say fundamentally, Acuant GO is the gateway to the proven Acuant Trusted Identity platform. So that platform I touched on in the beginning that we've been developing with 20 years of experience, access to all our entire solution suite, if you like, of document verification, biometrics, liveness, a vast array of multiple data sources that complement each other and work together. So Acuant GO is the gateway to all of that for onboarding, KYC, AML, and quite crucially, regardless of your industry or your business size, Acuant GO is going to provide you with a really robust and flexible solution without limits on any of those aspects. So some of the key features of Acuant GO is its drag and drop form designer. First and foremost, this is what makes that no code aspect really simple and straightforward to use. Makes building your data capture forms really easy, whilst allowing you that all-important customization that I've mentioned as well. Coverage, crucial as well. We've got more than 6,000, more than 6,500, I should say, types of identity documents supported from around the world. And that forms our industry-leading document library. But as Hannah will demonstrate shortly, there's also localization of language and data fields supported within Acuant GO as well. Briefly mentioned dynamic context as well. So Acuant GO is dynamic. It's going to allow you the flexibility to change your requirements do, and to collect the information that's relevant based on that use case as well. Consent management, also really big part of this. It's all straight out of the box, providing you with that compliance for GDPR and CCPA. Security, of course, hugely important. So all the forms that you create using Acuant GO for that data capture process, everything is encrypted end to end, and we use tokenization as well for the API access. And finally, probably most importantly, is the orchestration layer that we've built for Acuant GO. So, you know, it's the best identity verification solutions. They tap into multiple sources of data, be it proprietary, private, and public databases, and a diverse set of technologies. So that could be biometric, identity documents, data-centric. All of our data sources fold into this consistent identity verification model, and the orchestration layer is what makes it really easy for you to configure that process. So we use complementary sources that allow us to maximize the coverage that I've touched on as well, and automate that solution. And it's going to give you access to some of our proprietary technologies, such as the eDNA EDNA decision engine, digital identities reputation, dynamic risk profiling, and much more as well. So a real key element to it there as well. Hopefully that's kind of given you a bit of a taster of what Acuant GO is and what it does. I wanted to also touch on some of our client successes that we've had with Acuant GO that makes it a proven platform. So we've had a number of successes across business size and across industry. You can see some of them here. Startups we've been able to get live, you know, rapidly, extremely rapid go-to-market, go live process. That's not just including the front end. That 4 hours is also including back end as well in this case. And we've got the reduction in the drop-off rate that we've seen for enterprise clients. I wanted to just focus a little bit on BitPoint LATAM as well, and just drill down into a bit more detail with this client of ours, because as you can see, we got really phenomenal results in their increase of onboarding rates after they integrated with Acuant GO. So BitPoint LATAM, they're a cryptocurrency exchange with the highest coverage in Latin America. They're a market leader in that region, and they enable users to buy and sell crypto assets using local currency across Mexico, Dominican Republic, Panama, Guatemala, Ecuador, Peru, Argentina, Colombia, and Brazil. So big player in that space. The challenge for BitPoint LATAM was essentially they needed rapid deployment and scalability. They were short on tech resources, which again is a common one, and I've kind of touched on that already, but they needed to customize their onboarding forms without needing to go to their tech team. And they were using an inefficient document capture process, which was risking a poor user experience as well. So as I'm sure you've probably guessed by this point, the solution was to introduce BitPoint LATAM to Acuant GO and introduce that for a staged customer onboarding process. They utilized document verification, biometric facial recognition matching against the document, passive liveness checks to ensure that a real person was being onboarded as well, and kind of mitigate against the risk of deepfakes, for instance. And this is all whilst enabling the non-technical staff to customize and update the data capture forms as and when they're required. So that kind of streamlined their operation without needing to go to their tech team and pull that resource away, I should say, from other areas that they were focused on at the time in order to scale up quickly. So the results that big one is the increased onboarding by 98%. They now have a seamless multi-level KYC process that allows customers to onboard and begin transacting immediately. They've got that advanced localization and customization of languages that I touched on in the key features section as well for the form fields. So yeah, 98% increase in onboarding. I'm sure you'll agree it's pretty remarkable. Really hits home the importance of getting this process right from the start. So what I'm now going to do is introduce you to the Acuant GO No Code Challenge. So shortly going to hand over to Hannah to demo the solution. But before I do that, I want to introduce you to our new fictional client of ours called AcuMoney. So AcuMoney is a new digital bank. They're offering deposit and lending products in North America. And they operate exclusively online and aim to provide a convenient, efficient, digital experience. So they're a financial institution, so obviously they've got to comply with some of the strictest regulatory requirements around, including KYC, and in all of the countries where they conduct business as well. So we kind of meet AcuMoney at this stage in the process. The scenario is that they're preparing to scale across North America, launching next month. There's going to be a campaign and some promotional coupons to support that launch. And they need identity verification to comply with those KYC regulations that I mentioned before. Development resources are currently tied up because they're trying to get to market quickly and focus their attention on getting an MVP ready. And the compliance team has been tasked with building this identity verification onboarding process. So they've evaluated several options to automate that KYC process, and they've decided to go with Acuant GO based on the ease and the speed of deployment and the no code, no compromise aspect of it. So they're confident in their choice and they're ready to take the no code challenge. And with that, I'm going to hand over to our senior product manager, Hannah Alonso, who's going to take you through that process. Hannah.
Thank you so much, Jack. Okay, so let's go ahead with the challenge. Like Jack mentioned, imagine AcuMoney's compliance officer. AcuMoney is a digital bank that is looking into expanding their market, and they're looking into North America first, right? Which is great because as a compliance officer, I know that we just got our licenses to operate in Mexico, Canada, and the United States last month. So what the bank is actually planning to do in order to make this a big new market launch is, of course, running a coupon campaign, which is going to help us onboard as many users as we can. And the sad thing, like most of the times how it happens, right? So before we were able to create some of testing of onboardings for our North American clients, and we were doing this manually. Of course, as you can imagine, this took a lot of human hours spent, which, it's easy to know because this is a non-scalable process. Also, fraud went past our eyes, and of course, the worst thing is that the user experience was not optimal for our clients. So now the compliance team, and especially me, I have the new goal to automate this process and make it more effective before our new market launch. So what I know right now at this point is I want to create the onboarding form, which will allow my end users to enroll at AcuMoney. And I want this onboarding to provide a great user experience while, of course, meeting AcuMoney's regulatory requirements. So at this point, I've already been in touch with my Acuant contact. They already provided me my Acuant GO login access, which is basically all I need to get started, right? So in order to make this very interesting, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be sharing my phone. And let's set the timer, okay? So the first thing that you need to do, of course, is you have to log into Acuant GO with the login that any of your Acuant contacts have provided. Now, as soon as you land, you're going to go into this landing page, which is going to lead you into creating your own form. So this is the first step. Easiest one, of course, you just need to create your form name. So we're going to call this AcuMoney. And then the template selection. This is pretty straightforward. So you have different templates which are going to describe to you what each form is going to include or which tests they're going to be run automatically. So at this point, I know that I want this one. So I want to collect and perform public data test, and I want to run document authentication, facial recognition, and liveness tests. So I click on save. And voila. So right now, at this point, I already have my first draft of my form. I can click on preview the form. I can go and publish my form. What this is going to do is basically, of course, going to change the status of the form. And then the main difference is that you are going to have your testing form here, which is going to give you a way, of course, if you want to pre-test everything before you go live. But the great thing about Acuant GO is even after you have your production link, which is this one of the form, you can still make changes without breaking anything. So I'm going to stop the clock. So in less than 2 minutes, you can already have your form URL, which is going to collect exactly what you need and is going to be processed into our platform. So this is what we kind of like the quick and go form. We have some clients, of course, that actually send the link to their clientele so that they can log in, go through the form, and then they review it. But this is just kind of like the first basic, straightforward form. Now, like Jack mentioned, there's other situations that AcuMoney has, which I want to make sure I can adapt my form into, right? So the first thing is we're running a coupon campaign. So what I want to do is I want to actually make sure that I'm collecting this coupon information. I also want to make sure that I have my form branded and that is following my regulatory requirements, right? So let me unblock. Let's restart so that we can go to the next, kind of like the second level of the form. So the first thing that I want to know is I want to edit the fields of my form. So as you remember, we have country information, personal information, contact information, and the ID verification piece. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come here to the drag and drop feature that Jack was mentioning, and I know that I want to add a text field. Let's add it here under personal information. The text field, I want it to be called coupon, and then the placeholder, I want it to be coupon as well. I don't want this field to be required, so I'm not going to check this box because, of course, the use case is it's not mandatory. So I'm going to go and save that edit. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to make sure that the settings of my form are the ones that matches AcuMoney's. So I'm going to go to my form settings page. Now, like I mentioned, I already know that we already got licenses for Mexico, Canada, and the US. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that my form is available and it's supporting mainly these countries. So I'm going to whitelist, of course, Canada, Mexico, and the United States. So that's the first thing that I know that I have already configured here. Now, the second thing, okay, this is pretty easy. So since I'm going to be onboarding Mexican clients, I want them to have a great user experience and have their own form also translated into Spanish. So I know there's a section here that is called languages. So again, you don't need to know anything of code. The only thing that you need to do is you need to download your form template. So that's what I'm going to do. And what this is going to give me is it's going to give me the document that is actually going to be showing me all of the text that is included within my form. So remember, we had country information, personal information, and then here is everything is lined up here. You can even go all that far to customize. Let's say instead of country, you want to the label to be called location information. You can do that. So you can customize the style, the wording of the form, first thing, and this is for English. So by default, also Acuant GO provides the translation for Spanish, which is great for me. So the only thing that I need to do is I'm going to select all and then copy paste it. That's it. So just copy pasting and then you're good to go. And what else? So let's say also I've been in touch with my branding people here at AcuMoney and I've asked them for our CSS. So I already have that. So again, the only thing that I need to do is I need to select all, copy paste. So just copy pasting the settings, then you go to save. Now, again, like I told you, you can go back and forth. You can continue making changes. You can change your form back to a draft status. But at this case, I want to show you how even being with the form being published, you can make the changes, right? So this is our form. Now it's aligned with the branding of AcuMoney, which is basically a scale of blues. It has been translated. So if I'm in Mexico, it's going to be shown in Spanish. And then if I go to the United States, it's going to be in English. Remember that we also switch in the country information, header into location. This is where you will do it, right? So it's pretty easy, no code needed, and you can do it really fast. So going back to the clock, less than 6 minutes, you can have your form configured, styled, with the extra, I forgot to show you actually, with the extra fields that you need. So this is kind of like the second level I was referring to you guys. Of course, it's pretty easy to do so. We have clients that have gone really fast live, like Jack mentioned, less than an hour. So now I'm going to go to the last step. So let's say that at AcuMoney, we also want to make sure that this form is being embedded into our own website. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my Acuant GO portal. I'm going to go to my form settings. And I remember there was a section here which is called embedding form in my web page. So pretty easy. You come here. I know that I want to embed this form. And then what it's going to ask me to do is actually what is the hosted URL. For this hosted URL, what I'm going to do is we're going to use a demo page that we have. So I'm going to enter here because this is the place where I want my form to be hosted. Going to click and save. And then I'm going to come here again. It's just a copy pasting situation. And then I'm going to save the changes, right? So imagine at this point, this is whatever is the web page of our client. And then easy as that, you can just embed your form into your own website. So this is a no-code challenge. Again, I mean, as you can see, in less than 10 minutes, you can have your form up and ready to go with special customized languages, with special geofencing. You can also make sure that you're following your regulation locations on, that you have your CSS, that you have extra fields, that it's even embedded within a website. So this is kind of like what I wanted to show you guys so that you can realize how quickly and how easy it is to get you all started and ready to go with the Acuant GO solution, how powerful it is. So now that we have gone through this exercise, what I also want to show you guys is actually how the end user experience looks like, right? So let me just switch this into English. So let's go through the form itself. So again, as you remember, all of the information that you're seeing is editable. You can add whatever extra fields you want in your form. And then let's enter this as Acuant GO. Next, contact information. Again, if you wanted any extra fields here, you can do so. And then kind of like, this is my favorite piece, right? So it's the ID verification piece. So this is where I'm going to collect my documents so that I can get, remember when I chose my template, I said that I wanted to run public data. Okay, so all of the data that I've collected before is the one that is going to be run against the tests. Then that I also, in this template that I chose, I had document verification, liveness, face match, etc. So this is that piece that is going to take care of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scan an identity card. Now this is what we call the connection between the mobile and the computer, right? So basically what happens here is that the end user enters their phone number. Then they have different things that they can do here, right? So they can send the SMS, so that they can connect their mobile with their desktop to capture the documents. The other option that they have is that they can manually upload whatever is within their computer site. So what I am going to show you, let me show you real quick here. So this is basically the manual, what we call the manual upload. Users select here the picture, then we run some checks on the back, they agree the terms and conditions, and then they click on submit. Now, what I wanted to show you guys is actually this experience. So let's say that the user clicks on sharing their mobile phone number. They receive the text, which again, I forgot to mention this. On the languages template, you can also select what type of text message the end users, so the text here that you can see, right? So what is going to happen is that this is the connection that I was telling you about. So I have opened my, my link on my mobile. Then I'm going to start capturing my documents, right? So this is the auto capture experience. So as you saw, these two, the countdown and checking of the placement of the ID. There you go. So you'll be asked to open the front and the back and then selfie. All right. And you're going to, that's it. That's the part of the mobile experience. User, of course, agrees to the terms and conditions. And then this is submitted into the platform. So this is the last piece that I want to show to you guys. Where does everything goes to? So you also will be provided with your own logins for the platform. So this is where you will go. You go to your application sections, and this is where you'll see your own application. So remember, we even added the extra field. You'll have the capability to look at that values, the extra values that you add also here within the platform. You'll come here and you'll have also the chance to review the submitted pictures. So if in case you have any sort of review state applications, you'll come here to take a look at them and then make a decision on them. Of course, with the application we just did, this went to manual review because I'm not this person. This is not a face match, of course, and it is also not a real ID. So if you want to look at the reasons why this failed, you can come here to your dashboard. This is going to give you all of the information that you need. Also configurables, you'll have the the information collected at the moment of the form experience, and then here you have the results, right? So you'll see everything that went, that fired, that is considered risky based on your configuration from the application you just saw. So you also be able to compare what the customer entered as information, what was extracted from the ID, and the results of it. So just to recap, we were able, remember we had like the first quick and ready to go form that can be done in less than 2 minutes, and then configuring the style of your form, adding an extra field, making sure that it's customized to your own compliance needs and regulation requirements. It took less than 10 minutes. Even embedding it took less than 10 minutes. So again, since this is the no code challenge webinar, we wanted to show you guys how quickly and how easy it is to get you onboarded into Acuant GO, and just improving your user experience and making everything more effective between your identity verification processes with this powerful solution. So I'll hand it back to Jack.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Hannah. Yeah, I think that speaks volumes for the power of the solution and its capabilities. The fact that you can have your front end built, customized, and embedded in minutes, it still blows my mind, to be honest. So please, just a quick reminder, if you've got any questions, please do fire them over to us in the GoToWebinar question section, and we'll try and get around to answering some of those shortly. But what I wanted to do now is just reveal the results from our quickfire poll questions earlier. So first one was, what percentage of your customer interactions related to identity verification or KYC and AML compliance are fully digital? And it's quite interesting there that we've got quite a relatively even spread across all four. So it shows that we've got a good broad attendee selection here as well. And number two was, what is the most challenging aspect of rolling out and or managing an identity verification or AML KYC solution in your organization? Again, integration, a big one there, and the lack of IT resources, kind of the two big ones there. Obviously, I touched on that earlier on, and how much of a big barrier it can be to your business's speed to go live as well. So yeah, that's quite telling as well. And then finally, the final question that we asked was roughly how long it would take for you to develop and launch an identity verification or AML KYC solution in your organization. Less than 6 months, obviously the standout one there. But like Hannah's just demonstrated, 10 minutes and you can be up and running with your front end and everything feeding into the platform as well. So yeah, amazing. And thanks for everyone for taking part in that. It's given us a good background and understanding of some of your challenges within the space as well. So finally, we're now going to throw over to you, the audience, for our Q&A. So we've been keeping an eye on any of the questions coming through. We'll see how many we can get through. So let's have a look at what we've got. Okay, so how can I assure I do not onboard unwanted clients? It's a good question. Acuant GO and the platform as a whole certainly allows you to do that. So you can configure a minimum age, for instance. You can also, as Hannah demonstrated, you can blacklist those specific countries or whitelist specific countries. You can enable a repeated users checker as well. There's rule set tests that you can also add in as well. So yeah, number of different ways that you can ensure that you don't onboard unwanted customers, certainly through the Acuant GO platform. what else we got here? Okay, can you use Acuant GO to screen users for sanctions or watch lists to meet AML requirements? Yes, absolutely you can. Yeah, Acuant GO could screen users through all sanctions lists for AML requirements. We've got over 400 global sanctions and PEP lists available with advanced matching algorithms as well. So yeah, that's a really simple one to answer. We can most certainly screen users for sanctions and watch lists, and we can add them to ongoing monitoring as well.
Sorry, Jack. There's
Yeah,
another
go for
very
it.
interesting one. So, is there a limit to how many forms a client can create in Acuant GO? And the answer is no, there's no limit. So one client can create as many forms as they want. They can embed it in how many places they want. They can configure everything that is in there. And I think that's something also that it's great about Acuant GO. And it's going to, of course, allow you to grow as you also grow within your company, right? So if all of a sudden now you need a special form that is going to be following different styling, different alignments on what you've previously done, and you don't want to get rid of the previous one, you can keep both of them live and just continue growing, and it's going to basically adapt to whatever new scenarios or new flows or for onboarding and verifying an identity your company has.
Great, thank you,
And
Hannah.
then
Yeah,
sorry, I'm taking over your questions. And
not
then
at all, not at all.
there's another one. So is Acuant GO GDPR compliant? Again, yes. So it is GDPR compliant out of the box. Also, it meets, of course, CCPA regulations. So at the moment where you configure your form, there's also a section that it's called GDPR, and this is everything related to the compliance pieces, right? So and regulations. So what it's going to give you is it's going to give you the ability to enter all of the information, contact information, controller information. So everything that you're required to display to your end users that you can be considered GDPR compliant is going to be there. And on top of that, the platform where I show you the results of the form is also GDPR compliant. So we also follow all of the processes needed to complete with that regulation. So, great question. Now I'm done, Jack.
Amazing, thank you, Hannah. Thank you. Let's see what else we got coming through here. Okay, after the registry, I want my client to continue to be taken into a login page. Is this supported by Acuant GO? Hannah, do you want to take that one as well?
Sure, absolutely. So when after just say I want my clients to be taken into a login page. Okay, yes. So Acuant GO, again, this is going to be something that there's no code needed. So you can easily redirect your users based on the results of their application into whatever link or URL you want them to be redirected. And not only that, I mean, you can even specify the redirection based on the result. So let's say I want to redirect my approved clients into my login page. I want to redirect maybe my denied clients into a support page or into a different flow where maybe it's not automatic, but I want to schedule a live interview or whatever the process it is that you have that is going to follow that redirection, you can do that. Again, it's on the Acuant GO portal. You have result flow redirection section, and that's where you will specify which URL is going to be used for the redirection based on the result.
Great, thank you, Hannah. Yeah, it's really good to know as well. Great. Okay, we've got another one coming through here as well. Okay, for a demo where we can use your platform, what are the steps involved? In other words, can we white box the interface / can the admin UI be white labeled? Hannah, are you right to take that one?
Sure. So let's say, so for a demo where we can use your platform, what are the steps involved in other words? So the interface that I show you at the end, at the moment, it cannot be white labeled. So what you're going to have the capability to do is configure it so that this admin page can be shown however can display the information that you want it to be displayed, right? So remember that I show you there was some sort of initial page when you have all of your applications lined up. This is what you can configure, right? So you can configure the columns that you're going to be looking at. You're going to configure the information that you're going to be looking at the dashboard. The dashboard is also configurable, so you can make it so that this demo page of the platform can be showing only the information that you care about. So that's the piece that is configurable.
Great, good stuff. And I think we've got another one from the audience here as well. So in absence of any fails, i.e. face match succeeds, ID is valid, etc., will Acuant GO automatically approve the application, or is there always a manual approval step involved? So yeah, the short answer to that is yeah, it's automated approvals, certainly. But I don't know, Hannah, if you want to go into any further detail.
Right, so this is again something that is 100% configurable without any code needed. So you can log in into your admin page, and then you can set up the tests that are going to take a user to a manual review to later be manually approved, right? So you can also configure the test conditions for a user to be automatically approved. So maybe if a user approves the following test or doesn't fail these ones, then I want them to be automatically approved. You can configure that. The great thing also that about Acuant GO is we already have this configured for you. Doesn't mean that you cannot configure it after, right? But we do have default settings there that follow the best that we know to make sure that you're being compliant and that the tests are following kind of like the most common use cases that we've seen. So yeah, the answer is, of course, you can configure it so that whatever you said whatever you say is considered risky enough to send someone to manual review, that is going to happen. Whatever conditions you set so that someone is automatically approved, that is also going to happen. So you can configure that on your own. And of course, after something has been set into review, you can manually go into it and approve that application. So that's how the whole flow works for the platform.
Yeah, great. It all comes back down to that that point we raised earlier on around just how customizable it is, really. So yeah, lots of different ways to configure it and kind of tailor it to your specific needs and your specific use case or regulatory requirements as well. Okay, so we've got one last one here as well. So is it mobile application friendly or just HTML embedding? Hannah, are you all right to take that one?
Sure. So it does work on mobile. So the form is smart enough to know if your client is going to be coming from a desktop or from a mobile, right? So if the client is already loading your form from their mobile, they're going to skip this send the SMS, open the link. So they're going to be able to capture the pictures and enter the information because, of course, we don't need to connect into their mobile. So the answer is yes. The form is mobile friendly and it is smart enough to know when each of them is happening.
Great, thank you. Yeah, so hopefully that's kind of answered a lot of the questions there. What we're now going to do is just say thank you to you all for joining. I hope this was informative. What we'll do is we'll send the recording of this session over to you as well, just in case there's anything you missed or you want to watch back. And please don't hesitate to reach out to us if you've got any further questions or want to learn more or hopefully take the no-code challenge for yourselves. And we'll certainly be more than happy to get back to you and get the ball rolling there. So with that, I will wish you all a good rest of the week. And thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Jack.
Cheers, Hannah. Cheers, everyone. Bye. Bye.
Bye.